Okay, it's a while since we've done a video down here updating people on what's happening in Breaffy. That's not to say that there's nothing been going on, there's plenty going on. And I just wanted to update people on some of those bits and pieces. So, as I say, we're down here at the event centre. Now, this place was temporary accommodation for international protection applicants. The work has just been finished now to convert it into permanent accommodation. So they have concrete rooms in there, concrete bricks as walls, and they've lowered the ceiling in there, and they've really absolutely destroyed the place. There's no going back, there's no reversing what they've done in here. So Breaffy, I mean, it was a great resource to have. There was different sporting events held in there, different kind of concerts and stuff like that. That's all gone, and it's just going to be a direct provision centre, or a trafficking slum, I suppose, going forward. That's all we can say about this place. There's meant to be 300 people moving in. They're going to be moving in the next couple of days, maybe today, this evening, maybe tomorrow, definitely in the next couple of days. So we'll see how that plays out. Obviously, beside us here you have the Woods Hotel, the Ukrainian Refugee Centre as it's now known. What I wanted to highlight about this place is that obviously this place isn't open to the public anymore, yet believe it or not, it's got an active liquor licence. So it's the time of year when pubs and clubs and all that, restaurants, renew their liquor licence for the year ahead. And Breaffy House, the owners of Breaffy House, the licensee, actually not the licensee, the manager of Breaffy House, Wilson Bird, was in the court the other day, the district court in Castlebar, to renew the liquor licence for Breaffy House Hotel and also for the Woods Hotel, which is, as I say, Ukrainian Refugee Centre. So can anybody tell me why a refugee centre would need an open bar? Because I don't understand it. Anyway, we're objecting to that. We were in there the last day and we objected to the renewal of the licence, and the judge has set a hearing date, and it's down for a full day's hearing on the 14th of December, where we'll be making our argument as to why they shouldn't be granted this renewal of this licence. And we'll be talking about the character of the licensee, regarding the amount of issues that have taken place down here over the last year in the little space adjacent to the Woods Hotel there. The Gardaí and emergency services have been called, an awful lot more than they had in previous times up here, to do with drunken disorderly issues, public order issues. On one occasion at least there was a couple of people arrested, and there was a quantity of cocaine found on one of them. So yeah, a lot of people around the area don't understand why there should be a liquor licence here, so we'll be objecting to that. And if people are around on December the 14th, please come in and support. As well as that, just when we're on about the Woods Hotel here, allegedly 40 Ukrainian people who live here have received accommodation in the modular homes in Claremorris. So just on that same issue, actually, we were in the Mayo County Council meeting last week. It was the first one back after the summer holidays, and the mood is definitely changing in there. And this issue came up about the modular housing in Claremorris. A couple of councillors had bits and pieces to say. Let me just read a few bits. Michael Kilcoyne mentioned the fact that there are 100 people, or over 100 people, in emergency accommodation in Mayo, but not one of those people received any housing in this, any accommodation in the modular homes in Claremorris. Patsy O'Brien, who is Fine Gaeler, he was saying something similar, like, why not build these modular homes for people that have been on our housing list for a long time? Fair enough, fair point. This is all new, by the way, from the likes of Patsy O'Brien. We haven't heard this sort of thing before. Michael Kilcoyne, fair enough, he's one of the half decent ones in there that have been raising these issues. Christy Hyland, he's another one who had some things to say at the last meeting. He was saying that why is planning permission is exempt for housing refugees. They can bypass the planning laws, but not the case when it's for Irish people. So why can't that be done? That's fair enough. And he said, he made the comment, like, for our own. Why can't that be done for our own? Now that's a fair thing to say, but that's the sort of thing we've been saying for months now, that he's been calling us far right and racist over. It's an absolute disgrace. He's the man, actually, that a couple of months ago outside, or at the end of a meeting, a county council meeting, stopped and looked me in the eye and said, are you trying to get people to hate each other? And obviously no, I'm absolutely not doing that. But again, just stern tensions, didn't want to deal with the issue, but now is finding that there's no choice but to deal with the issue, because no doubt his constituents have had something to say to him, because Westport is under siege as well. So I just wanted to mention that about the councillors. Another thing to say about the council meeting, actually, Peter Flynn, who's another man from Fine Gael, who again, with Michael Kilcoyne and maybe with Donna Sheridan, are the few councillors in there that are willing at least to discuss this issue. Now, Peter Flynn, before the summer break, had put it up to the CEO of Mayo County Council that a report be produced talking about the services and resources in the county, and are they at an adequate level to look after who we have and everyone else is going to be coming into the county. Now that's due in the next couple of weeks, so it'll be very interesting to see. We all know the answer. We all know there are nowhere near enough services and resources to look after everybody. But it'll be interesting, it'll be great to see it on paper, and we'll see how Mayo County Council present that. The other thing to say about Peter Flynn is that just prior to the summer break, he asked the CEO, Kevin Kelly, about Loch Lana and the amount of money Loch Lana had taken in from the department regarding housing Ukrainians there. He was told that they were all in the budget, and that was €40,000. Now, Peter has done his own research over the summer and found out it's not €40,000. The windfall to Mayo County Council from Loch Lana has been €400,000. The CEO, when it was brought up the last day, apologised for that, and you know, whether it was a genuine mistake or not, we don't know. Obviously, I have my own ideas on that. Finally, I just wanted to mention an incident that occurred at a secondary school in Swinford just on Wednesday gone, 2 days ago. Now, this is an incident with two students. One student is a 14-year-old young fella. He's meant to be a very bright fella, and the other one is an 11-year-old African refugee or asylum seeker staying here at Breaffy. So he's only in the school a couple of weeks, and just to tell you a little bit what happened, and the reason I want to talk about this is because some of the parents from Swinford, different people have got in touch with me from around Swinford, tell me about this incident. So many people got in touch that I felt I had to report it, because I hadn't seen it reported anywhere else. The young fellow was with his two friends. The Irish young fellow was with his two friends at lunchtime. They decided to go down to one of the classrooms, and they were going up the stairs, and on one of the corridors, just before they went up the next flight of stairs, this new young fella, this African asylum seeker fella, came down, grabbed the Irish lad by the throat, put him up against the wall, put a knife against his neck. And I just want to write this down. This is what I've been told. He said, "In my country we learn to kill people. I'll show you." That's what he said. Now the young fella got away, the Irish fella got away, and he began to kind of run up the steps. Now, by the way, this was a butter knife. It wasn't a sharp knife, but he wasn't to know that at the time, obviously. The Irish fella tried to run up the steps, and his leg was grabbed, and your man tried to stab him in the back of the knee a couple of times before he got away. So that was the incident. And now it was reported to the principal. He didn't really have too much concern, it seemed, for the Irish fella who had been through this traumatic enough experience. And basically just wanted to get in touch, wanted to find the young African lad and make sure he was all right, essentially. Now, Gardaí were called. I'm not sure who called them. It could have been, I'm not sure who called the Gardaí, but we've been in touch with them, and they said that there's no criminal investigation at this stage anyway. Now, in foot of what happened, the canteen actually have gotten rid of all the knives and forks. They replaced them just with plastic knives and forks, and supposedly the principal wasn't happy that they've taken these steps. The principal had the young Irish fella sitting up with his two friends up in a little waiting room beside the secretary after this had happened. There was no chat with them, no seeing are they okay, no victim support, nothing like that. Just left them sitting there, interrogated them somewhat, and got them to fill out a statement. So you can imagine what this young fella is going to be like now going back to school. The African asylum seeker, who's 11 years of age, I don't know why he's in the secondary school, but he's only in the school 2 weeks. He was let in because supposedly he's got very good grades, and he's had a tough time of it from where he's from, and his mother is a single parent, and these are all the excuses that the principal was making for him, but no concern whatsoever for the young Irish lad who had to deal with this encounter. So he's been suspended for a couple of days. He's not been expelled, he's been suspended. So obviously there are parents in Swinford that are very concerned about this. I think there are about 15 asylum seekers that are getting collected in taxis here every day at Breaffy and getting taxied over to Swinford. It's a good 30-minute spin over there, I'm sure. And as well as that, we hear that there's some kids in school out there, some Irish kids that have been to the school for a couple of years, that were on the list to get the bus there, and a week or two before school starts, they're contacting and said there was a mistake made, there's actually no place on the bus, sorry about that. Yet these people are getting taxied over and back every day whenever needed. As I said, they're moving in very soon. This is continuing to happen all over the country. There's no end in sight whatsoever. Who knows how many hundreds of thousands of migrants are going to bring into the country next year. There's no end in sight. We know it's an EU, a UN and WEF led agenda, and our Irish politicians have no say in the matter whatsoever. We know that there's an awful lot of people getting very well paid, like the owners of Breaffy House for one. It's nothing to do with a humanitarian effort whatsoever. It's about profit, it's about money, that's it. But look, the local elections are coming up next year, and I would encourage people to think about running. You know, if you're well known in your community, if you're a decent person, you don't need to know everything. You know, you just need to be a decent person willing to represent the people. And just keep an eye out for your current politicians, your councillors, and watch them as their tune changes over the next couple of months. And just remember and just understand the reason that they're doing it, because they know now the public opinion is against them, and they want your vote. They want to be voted back in. So don't let it happen.